My girlfriend and I have been in a relationship for the past year now, and we have a lot in common. Over the past year, we have had an amazing relationship together. It was a few months ago when she told me that she wanted to open our relationship because she needed some space in the course of her life. Initially, I was hesitant to accept the offer, but I eventually decided to accept it. Throughout our relationship, we've been in an open relationship, and I have always hoped that the experience would be a positive one for both of us. As a result of exploring different aspects of our relationship, we've been able to become ever closer as a couple. Our relationship, however, is something she wants to continue for a long time to come. Even though she made sure that it was clear to me that she loved me very much, the way she acted in this way did not reflect that love. There is nothing she wants more than to have fun while she's young. All she wants to do is have a good time. Because of this, I would have to say that I understand her point of view, as at the time, I was hopelessly smitten with her. In order for us to move forward and make this happen, I made it clear in the beginning that we would not engage in any sexual activity as a mean of making this person. I wanted her to understand that I was not only interested in having good time, I wanted her to be a part of my life in a meaningful and a respectful way. She agreed to me. Instead, we would just date, party, and hang out. To begin with, she gave her assent. I don't think she was feeling at ease around me at this point in time, but I think we were operating on a couple of different plans at that time, so I did not know whether she was feeling comfortable. She was confronted with a question one day when I inquired about whether or not she had ever lied to me about having an affair with another individual when I was present in her life. It seemed as if she was astonished when she answered, but she said she does not have an affair and that she's only dating her bank manager on dates. I asked her one more time if she had any kind of sexual relationship with him because she was employed there in the capacity of a cashier. It was in a bank. Although she did not respond to my question, she said that he only kissed her once. However, she stated that it had already happened before me, and I chose not to comment on it since it was concerning her history. Therefore, I refrained from making any remarks to her. I did not want to offend her in any way. Anyway, after 2 weeks had passed, she revealed to me that she'd been dating an old acquaintance. The man moved closer to her and I asked how everything was going on so far, and she thought it was going well. My question to her was whether or not she had a deep connection with him, and her answer was that they had never been more than friends in the past, but they are now dating and spending time together often. Meanwhile, I had the impression that she was suddenly feeling anxious about herself in relation to me at the same time. For instance, she started hiding her belongings from me, which was an indication of this anxiety. As a matter of fact, we both lived together in the same apartment at the same time. However, when she got home late at night, she began sleeping in a different room from where we lived. The lady once told me that she did not want to wake me up when I was sleeping, so that's why she started sleeping in another room. I found this quite strange, as we'd been living together for months without any issues. Despite my attempts to understand her decision, she refused to explain further. I began to suspect that something was going on. I remember one particular day when I arrived at my place at around 12:35 in the afternoon, and I found that my girlfriend was currently lounging around on the couch with another man. They were hanging out together. When I left them alone after saying hello to them, I headed straight to my bedroom. As I was sitting in the room, I thought the boy's pant zip was undone, which made me jump, kicking myself out of the room as soon as possible. I felt so betrayed and angry. I didn't know how to process the situation and how to deal with it. I decided to go out of my room. As soon as I got out of my room, I started walking around. It seemed to me that they were waiting for me to leave the flat before they left. My girlfriend asked me if I was going to leave the apartment, and I said no. After that, they left. I had a sneaking suspicion that there was some ulterior motive behind her request that I vacate the apartment. After dark, I thought I ought to discuss this matter with her. When she arrived home, I began by asking her how things were going with her boyfriend at the time. She responded that everything was fine with her boyfriend. She then asked me why I had asked her about her relationship. I told her that I wanted to make sure she was happy. In response to my question regarding the reason for her inquiry as to why I had left the apartment, the reason for this, she explained to me, was that he was not feeling comfortable with the situation he was in. While she was delivering this information to me, her demeanor was terribly impolite. It gave the impression that she did not want me to be in the flat at all. I was not encouraged at all by my feelings. I told her I was leaving and that I understood that she was saying. She thanked me and I left the flat. As I walked out, I could not help but feel uneasy about the situation. I was disappointed by the whole experience, especially the way she treated me. I still don't understand why she was so rude. I hope I won't have to encounter her again in this manner. I was using my laptop the other day and I was doing some work on it. The moment I received the notification, I realized that it was a message from my girlfriend. It was a logout message that appeared on the screen. Thanks to the fact that my password had been saved, I was able to log in. When I logged in with my password, I found that I had received a confirmation notification that I had booked a few fancy lingeries. In my first impression, I thought she had ordered that to show me her love for me, as a way of showing her love. Since I thought she would come up with a surprise as she did previously, I didn't ask her because I thought she would come up with one. Over the course of 3 nights, I waited for my turn. However, she did not have a plan for me to wear anything from her side. Additionally, there is another thing that makes me suspicious about her, because she received that order 3 days ago. Upon checking the drawer, I was able to find the box inside. I thought when I opened it, the lingeries should be there. However, when I opened it, they were not there. It makes me believe that she might have been having physical relations with her new boyfriend as a result of this. I was so angry that I confronted her about it. She denied it and said that she had no idea why the lingeries were missing. I didn't believe her, and we ended up getting into a big argument. It happened once, but I got a call from her number, but there was a male at the other end of the line. When I inquired as to who he was and where my girlfriend was located, I found out that she was unable to communicate since she's been heavily drinking. Upon getting to the bar, I realized she seemed to be very heavily drinking lately, but I do not know why. As soon as I got her home, she started talking kinky. When she was attempting to have a sexual relationship with him, she referred to him as James and was attempting to get him to do so. It dawned on me after some time that she had disobeyed our rule by disobeying us. The following day, I decided that I should follow her in order to confirm what she had done. When I followed her, I was surprised to see she was meeting with an old man at that time. He was not old enough, but around the age of 50 was what he was considered old enough. There was something she was doing that I am not sure what it was. It occurred to me that there might be something else going on. After that, she got into the car with him and they went to a large house together. After she went into the house, it was evident that the crime had been committed, and my mind was blown by the knowledge that it had been committed. The fact that she would do that was not something I expected from her. I felt so helpless because I was the only one who decided to have an open relationship with her, so I was the one who made the decision for us to do so. The mistake I made, I admit, was to make this mistake, and now that I have realized it, I want to fix it as fast as possible. If I had to entirely be honest, I had had several opportunities to date a person previously, but I feel like I did not need to. Because of this, I had a feeling that I ought to start a relationship with anyone this time around. I started to understand why she had done this. She wanted a relationship and she was willing to take risks to get it. As an Italian lady introduced me to meeting new people and going on dates, I had the thought that it was time for me to start dating. Since she had already violated the rule, it was much less concerned about it now that she had already broken it. After I brought that Italian lady home, it seemed as if she had not enjoyed the way that I was holding her hands and doing all the other things she did. In spite of the fact that we had a good time conversation and laughing, her expression revealed a hint of envy. I can even forget about it. While we were chatting and laughing, as she had a terrible grimace on her face, as far as she was concerned, I did not know what kind of a girl she was because, on the one hand, she wanted to date a variety of people, and on the other hand, she did not want to share me with anyone. She was in a dilemma because of her conflicting desires, and I could feel her frustration. I decided, therefore, that I ought to act on this matter. Thus, I have already placed my order with Amazon. I stuffed her purse with a portable microphone and a GPS device, both of us which she frequently uses. During the evening of the following Saturday, she went out with her friends and spent the entire night away from home. As a result, when she returned to her house the next morning, she looked like a complete wreck. At that moment, I grabbed her purse, took out the microphone, and began searching through it for recordings in which she was engaged sexually suggestive behavior with the other man. It was a shocking and disappointing experience for me. Having decided to confront her about the recordings and ask her to explain her actions, I decided to confront her about them. Now it was up to me to take action in order to make things happen. As a matter of fact, she just fell asleep out of the blue, so I had not the opportunity to act quickly. As soon as I became aware of how to punish her, I put the plan into action. 2 days later, the Italian woman showed up at my house where she already found my girlfriend in sight. Once I had her in my room, I immediately opened the door and began stripping off her clothing one by one as soon as I got her into the room. As a result of being astonished, she asked me what I was doing and what I was doing to her. It was her statement that the rule stated that none of us were allowed to have any physical relations with one another. So I asked her if she had remembered that rule stated that it was forbidden for us to do so. She showed signs of agitation and anxiety as soon as I asked her if she had followed this guideline, and her expressions began to change as a result. A look of disinterest crossed her face as she did not respond. I knew I had done the right thing by breaking the rule. As a result, she told me that I had only slept with you. She was caught off guard by the words that were spoken by her. The first thing I did was tell her to let me show her something. I told her to pay attention to these voices, for these voices are your voices, and that you should pay attention to them. As a result, I advised her to stop disturbing us after that point and not disturb us again. As soon as I had intimate relations with that Italian woman, we went out for a night on the town. The moment I got home after spending the whole night with her, she was still sitting in the corner, staring at me and crying. The process of doing this continued for several days in a row. Every day I bring that Italian lady home to my house and we fun together, and during the course of this time, she begged me to stop what I was doing to forgive her. Although I was aware of the damage she had done to me, I was unable to forgive her due to the level of damage she had caused. It had been made clear to her that we would no longer be able to live together in the same house as before. It was evident to me that there was no loyalty on your part towards me. She begged me not to abandon her, and I assured her I would not do so. It was my intention to teach her a lesson through my actions. I explained to her that whatever I did was not intentional, but I was only trying to show her a lesson through my actions. However, she had already lost all hope. I had no choice but to get rid of my house. I made it clear that our relationship was over and that I would not be coming back. I left the house and never looked back. She was devastated by my decision and begged me to reconsider. I was firm and resolute in my decision. I knew it was the only way to make her realize the importance of what I was trying to teach her. I made it clear that I have given her multiple chances and that I was not going to compromise on my principles anymore.